You know, everything old is new again. This is a story that goes back to my high school days, for heaven's sake. You know, that little one-room shack out on the prairie?
Yes.
Had to take the buckboard to get to school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You walk 3 miles in the snow.
Uphill both directions. Now, I'm serious. When I was in high school, we had this dress code that required girls to wear skirts, and they couldn't be any longer than such and such a length.
Well, they still have dress codes in high school that I sometimes think is still discriminatory against women.
That's what this issue is all about, and it's not just a matter of whether or not, they're wearing what they want to wear. It has to do with the North Carolina court that has ruled that a school's dress code is unconstitutional. And joining us to talk about that, a constitutional specialist, Byron Henry, attorney with Sheaf and Stone. Hi, Byron.
Good morning.
Well, first of all, explain how the judge came to the decision and what the case was really about.
Well, first of all, we're talking about a charter school there, which is considered a public school in North Carolina. So we're talking about the state, basically, making rules distinguishing between girls and boys. And more recently, the case law on this issue has been trending towards you can make laws that treat men and women differently when they have differences that require them to be treated differently. But when it comes to things like based on traditional stereotypes between men and women or boys and girls, those laws have, since about 1996, whenever the Supreme Court struck down the law keeping women out of Virginia Military Institute, ever since that decision came down in 1996, it's been trending towards anything that's based on traditional stereotypes between men and women. Those laws don't stand if made by the state. Others can, but in this case, it sounds like it's pretty clear that the school district admitted that they were trying to promote kind of some traditional values type issues here between boys and girls and chivalry and respect. And although that sounds like a noble goal, and it may even be positive for the school district and be working, those laws are very suspect in court's eyes these days.
Yeah, that's exactly the way I read it, and that's pretty much the school district's entire defense is, we're traditional, we're conservative, and people whose kids come here know that. But the judge's ruling really had more to do with practicality than anybody's idea of the way society should be, right?
That's right, and if you're going to make a law that distinguishes between men and women or differently, if the state is going to enforce that law, like at a state school or whatnot, then you have to have what's called a pretty compelling justification. And so you have to make a case that you need this for compelling reasons, not just for good reasons or just some reasons. And in this case,
well, in this particular case, it's a dress code having to do with girls having to wear skirts. So the court ruled that girls don't have to wear skirts. So what could this mean for other schools in the future that may have a policy like this across the country?
Well, public schools are going to be under scrutiny of having a skirt, requiring women to wear skirts. That's odd because being a lawyer and going to court, a lot of courts have that are state obviously run have dress codes that require female attorneys to wear skirts. So this is going to be interesting going forward. But the law, it's not a crazy ruling. This does stem from some good, solid jurisprudence in this area. So the school districts or courts or whoever have these laws are going to have better reasons for having and enforcing these distinctions other than simply we're just trying to promote respect between men and women.
Yeah, this was a lawsuit that was originally filed in 2016. The ACLU took it on from a mom who said, hey, you know what, my girls go to school on cold days, and when they're wearing skirts, that makes their legs cold, makes them very uncomfortable. They have to sit at their desks. They have to cross their legs a certain way. Boys don't have to do that. Boys don't have to worry about these things. And so it really does come down to the differences in the genders and what they're allowed and able to do.
Yeah, this is just right on its face, saying boys have to wear skirts. Girls have to wear skirts and boys have to wear long pants. It's right on the face of the law, treating boys and girls differently in how they need to dress. And although courts will uphold some things that have to be distinguished between boys and girls, like the facial hair rules and some hair rules and different things like that. In this case, the courts are going to say there's no reason why girls can't also wear long pants for practical reasons and other reasons that the decision pointed out. And like I say, if you don't have a better reason than just that's the way it's always been, or we're harkening back to a better time or the good old days, that's not going to work in courts these days.
All right, Byron, thank you so much for your expertise. Byron Henry, attorney with Sheaf and Stone.
Will be interesting to see what they do about dress codes in the courts.